Good evening, everyone. Hey, welcome to Trauma Talk with Gina from Rise Up from Trauma Coaching. Thank you all for being here. Tonight's guest is Charles Slyfox Fishing, as you know him. This is take number 2. We did this about 2 weeks ago or so, and unfortunately, we had some audio issues. And so here we are again, kind of sharing a little bit of his journey, the things that he has gone through, kind of keeping it a little bit of PG. And then what we want to do is definitely dive into, oh, there's a big spider on my curtain, sorry. Dive into the world of how he learned to recover. Sorry, that's like squirrel. Oh my goodness, it's humongous. That's funny. I don't like spiders. So give you a little bit of laugh at the beginning of our live here today. So if you will all take a moment to thank Charles for being here. If you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat. And so let me give you a little bit of information as far as why we do this channel, what this channel is about, and kind of let you know why we do this. So good evening, Scott. So why we started to do this, or why I started to do this, is because God kind of called me and said, it's you against a million. And so it took me a little while and some things happened for me to understand exactly what that is. And so what it means is that nothing against any health professionals by any means. It just means that a lot of people are conditioned to believe certain things. And so God has separated me from them. And here I stand by myself, and here's the million people. So instead of going with the grain, I'm going against the grain. And so every week we bring on a guest, a trauma survivor that has used some sort of healing modality on their healing journey. So, the first week that we had Amy with Aim True Coaching, and she came on and kind of talked a little bit about her journey and a little bit about breath work. And I am going to have her come on again probably within the next couple of weeks. I'd like to get her back on here.
Them are no good, Alex.
But why we do this is simply because a lot of people don't realize that it's not always about the bottom up approach, which is really going on finding the root cause of the trauma and then kind of working through it from working on the psychological into the physiological. So what we like to use is called the side door approach. And the side door approach is really where we're getting the mind and the body connected. And so that way there, it helps to have a greater healing, a greater understanding of the way that the trauma has impacted not only your brain, but your body as well. And a lot of people don't realize that the emotions, which is the trapped trauma, is actually in the physiological. So we have to have some sort of recreational therapy, some sort of movement, something to actually get that trapped trauma eliminated. So that's why I actually love when, hi, Linda. That's why I actually love when, summertime, I can get out and swim. I love walking. So there's so many different healing modalities and so many different things that you can do and kind of help. So why I decided to do these is to let you know that there's other things to do and kind of do things in a different way. And so, kind of help you on your healing journey. Some of the things that I've done, some of the things that work for me may not work for anybody else, and vice versa. So it's all very versatile, and we just want to bring the attention to the other healing modalities that are out there so everybody understands that it's not traditional talk therapy. It's not about coaching. It's about really getting out there and moving your body to excrete all of the trapped trauma, the emotions, the stress, the anxiety, all of that things. And then it goes into gut health as well. And now we'll save that for a whole nother day. But again, hi, Carol. I want to introduce Sly again to the floor, or to my live floor, whatever we want to call it. And so when he speaks, it's going to be more of a PG. I do know his story. And if some of you do not realize or didn't know this, but Charles is actually my husband. We will be celebrating 21 years of marriage in July, and it has not always been hunky-dory, especially both of us being trauma survivors and both of us having some sort of unhealed trauma. And so he's the yin to my yang, the peanut butter to my jelly, and so I don't tell him
Like
enough how
peas
much
and carrots.
oh, you're so, yeah, and peas and carrots. So a lot of things I don't tell him how much I appreciate him, but he really is at like an essential part of my healing. Um, and so when I'm dysregulated, as much as I fight him, he will hold me and kind of calm me down as much as I fight him. And so it's because his body's regulated. So he regulates me, which we call that kind of not really it's co-regulation. That's what it's called. I was going to say something else. I was like, no, wrong way. So it's actually co-regulating, which is an amazing tool for trauma survivors as well. So, so tell us a little bit. Would you want Charles? Well, people call you Slyfox, but I'm going to call you Charles. So, in the PG realm of your trauma, can you kind of give us a little bit of backstory of your trauma and the things that you've endured?
Well, I try to be PG. Ha ha ha.
It's all right. I mean, I think it's pretty much adults, but you know, not like. Okay, so let me give you an idea of PG, and this is why I say this now is because I interviewed a gentleman last week, I believe it was, and the description that he gave me of his trauma almost caused secondary trauma. And so when we share things, we have to share kind of in a PG and leave out all of the descriptive measures that have taken place, because if somebody is still unhealed, they're going to become dysregulated very, very easily. And if they're not getting help right now, they're not going to they're not going to know, they're not going to have the coping skills to calm their they're not going to have the coping skills to regulate their nervous system. So so when I ask for PG, you can share things just in not a very descriptive manner, because again, it's all about safety and keeping all of our guests regulated. So with that being said, you can keep it as PG or a little bit, but you know what I mean.
Well, like I said before when we tried to do this, no echoing, right?
No echoing.
Everybody hear everything good?
Yes. Well, I can anyway. I'm hoping everybody else can.
But you grow up, you think you got a decent, normal childhood, but when you get older, you look back and say, no, it wasn't. My mom and dad, they had their good times and their bad times, and they got divorced. I'm trying to think how old I was.
So let me stop you for a minute, because everybody is saying they hear the echo. I can't hear it, but everybody else can.
Oh. I don't know what else I can do. I've canceled all this stuff.
Can you try it without your headphones on? Now you have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Anybody hear any good, bad?
I don't know why it echoes. That's odd.
Still echoing?
I can't hear an echo. Anybody in the chat, if you can let us know if you hear an echo from Slyfox.
Anything? Everybody get now?
No. Linda said that there's still an echo, but it doesn't bother her.
Well, no, I can't. I can barely hear you because I got it turned down so low. Stupid. Second.
Worst case scenario, you can always just shut it down and just come in here and we can do it side by side if you want. That's fine. But Carol said that it's no biggie. They can hear past it. The issue that I have is that when other people go to listen to it, they're going to hear the echo. And that's what happened before. People heard the echo and then they didn't like it and then they didn't watch it any further. and I think Charles's story is very powerful. So if you'll give him a minute and he can actually just dip out and dip in. So just close it and come in. So he'll just literally, my office is out the front door and in another door. So give him just a second and he'll be right back. So I can't hear it on my end like I did when we did it before. So I appreciate you guys letting us know. So how's everybody with this weather? Are you guys like roasting, falling apart, melting? Kara's funny. Oh. How hot is it where you are? I think at like 9, 10 o'clock this morning. We're in Ohio, and I believe it was like 92 this morning. Oh, wow. We're looking at, I think, 95, 96, 97 the rest of the week. I've been living in my pool when I'm not working and having clients. So I'm like, holy mackerel. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna see, Carol, you'll be proud. Oh shoot, I'm hitting the wall. Okay, well, I don't, well, you know what? Like, I can't do this because I'm hitting the wall. I guess here, this is what I'm supposed to show you, Carol. I can see it right here. Okay. Can you see that? And then this is what I upgrade it to. I really like these. So this is what I upgraded to. All right, get your butt.
That cost $63 on sale from Cast King combo.
Gosh, we're not promoting. Okay.
There you see.
Oh, you're gonna come sit next to me? We're gonna have to figure this out. You should have just nailed. Should have nailed next to me.
I made the shorty.
Yeah, so it's might have to. You got what you say? You're gonna be the shorty. All right, I'm gonna pull my microphone a little bit. Well, I'm hoping I can catch some. You know, like I said, I'm gonna put my microphone here.
Ankle.
You all right? What you
Yeah.
hit?
Corner of your desk.
Oh, poor Sly.
Ow!
So we've been out
That hurt.
fishing. I've been out fishing,
Here, let me make glasses on now.
and I have not caught anything. With the assistance of Slyfox and him helping me, I did catch one, and but I'm just like I always say, if the tournament and the competition was to catch no fish, I would probably be in the lead because I have not caught anything. So, all right, 95 there tomorrow. Holy mackerel, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot all over. I'm like, this is just, I'm not complaining because I'd rather have hot than I would cold because you can get in. Hopefully everybody has air conditioning. You can get in there and be in the air or be in a pool or whatever. But I'm one of those nuts that I like being outside. It's part of my self-care. So yeah, but we'll talk about that another time. So Charles is in here. So we are going to continue with his story. Hopefully you can hear him now.
All right, can you hear me now? Is there an echo? Echo? No echo? Because if it echoes not coming here, I ain't doing it. I'm done.
Maybe it's your voice.
Does my voice echo?
Yes, Carol, you're right. It is better than snow.
No, not really, Caro. No, I don't agree with that. The snow, I don't like snow, but I don't like 100-degree weather.
It's all right. Okay.
It stinks.
No echo, babe.
All right, no echo.
Okay.
All right, well, as I was trying to say, like most kids, you think you got, good childhood growing up, After you get older, you realize, it wasn't that great, It wasn't terrible, a lot of people have worse than me, but, it is what it is. I think it made me a stronger, better person. Mom and dad didn't have the greatest marriage. Like I said, they got divorced. I don't know. I'm thinking I was probably like 13, 14 years old, maybe something like that. And, which is fine because they need to be divorced, truthfully. They clash too hard. So it is what it is. then later, back in 1995, my father passed away from suicide. I took that pretty hard. I went off on a pretty bad few years there, doing things I shouldn't have been doing, drinking and doping, partying life, didn't care. Could have killed myself. I wouldn't have cared at all. Didn't matter. Um, so that's just the way it happened, you know. But had some things that happened, later that got me straightened out. I knew I had to make better life choices for myself. Um, so I got off the dope and everything, got straightened around. So then ended up meeting her, and crazy how we met, but that's for another subject, another time.
No, you need to tell them. It's a great,
Oh.
it's a great thing. I think Carol knows because we were talking to her, but
Oh,
some
Oh,
of you
yeah.
may not know how we met. It's actually pretty interesting.
and an AOL chat room. She was presently at that time going through, divorce and all that stuff and everything. So that's how we met, and I encouraged her to do what was right for her and life. So is what it is. I mean, I wasn't after her at that point in time at all. I mean, that was several months later that, we got to talking more and more and more different things. And she ended up coming to Memphis, and we met and had a good time. And then, I don't know what, a couple months later, I moved to Ohio from Memphis. So,
Yep.
and been there ever since, We, we've had our ups and downs and everything. But I guess with my background, how I was raised up hunting and fishing, that's always been out for me to find peace and what kind of word? There's another word for it. Peace and something else. Serenity.
Zen.
And so I got out of hunting for a long time. I'm just now in the last couple of years kind of got back into hunting, but I've always done my fishing. Sometimes not as much as I want, sometimes more than I should, but that's fishing has been a saving grace for me. It helps me get my mind clear and not worry about different things of life and the struggles. And you know um, I learned that I had to love myself. I guess I was kind of raised that way, that be responsible and and raise yourself. So, or raise yourself and love yourself. So I've always had that towards this one, what she needs to do, love herself. And she wouldn't. You're like, I do love myself. No, you don't. you know she wouldn't love herself. And I think I've kind of got that pushed in her a little bit. Finally, it took me long enough, about 20 years. But I don't know, we hadn't had it always easy. We've been through some rough times, financially. And we lost the house in the house fire. We lost everything. I mean, she was looking in a box the other day of some old photos, what few photos we was able to salvage. Very few little things from the kids, from, kindergarten, first grade, stuff like that, second, third grade, whatever things. Very, very, I mean, just limited amount of things. I mean, everything fit in a 18-gallon tote, and it's not even full. So, like a couple items of baby clothing. One of them will be passed down to our oldest daughter, Ariana. So if she has a little girl, then her little girl will get to wear that. Um, and we have a little suit, like a dress shirt kind of thing that belonged to Josh when he was little. And when his little boy gets old enough, it'll go to him um, to wear. So that'd be pretty cool. You know, something just got something we could pass down, thankfully. Um,
All right, taking that off.
so, I don't know. It's just for people that enjoy the outdoors and things like that. It's important for. I'm the sanest person I know, so that does me good. But yeah, I mean, my mom and dad, you know, they fought and whatever else, you know, for years and stuff before they decided to finally call it quits. But my aunt Linda's here. You know, she hadn't always had an easy life either. I know she hadn't. You know, God, you know, I mean, I love my Uncle James, but he wasn't the perfect person by any means. You know, and my aunt Linda, you know, I mean, she's not my aunt by blood, but she's my aunt by marriage, and she'll be an aunt by being divorced from him. You know, from my uncle. You know, so she'll always be family no matter what. Nobody can change that.
Well, they always say
So-
that blood's not always thicker than water. So,
Blood is exactly.
did I say that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did say that right. I had to think for a minute. Did I say that correctly? So, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
But so, you know, that's I learned. I got over it. You know, I mean, at one point in time, I was on dope so bad. I mean, I was. We just shared some pictures of when I had been clean for I don't know 2 or 3 years or longer, and I was still like 135 pounds.
if you're friends with, both of us on Facebook or one of us on Facebook, he actually shared the photo. And I remember meeting him, and he was like a size 28, 27, 28. And I mean, like his waist was like this. And
I was thin.
it was, ugh, and I was just like, man. And I look at him, and Carol, you are absolutely correct. I have to show that because that is right. And he was just so unhealthy, but I didn't realize when I had met him that he was going through so much of his own trauma and coming off of the things that he was doing. And so it was kind of like we were each other's saving grace, like, you know, angels in disguise in a way and stuff like that. He really saved me from an abusive relationship. And that I can wholeheartedly tell you, if I probably would have stayed, I probably would have been dead. If Charles would have stayed in the situation that he was in, chances are he probably wouldn't be sitting here either. And so, you know, it, like he said, it's not always hunky dory. You know, there's still disagreements. No marriage is perfect. But it takes work. It's a lot of work, a lot of things. And so, I remember, I'm just going to share like a little bit of my trauma because some people don't know, but sorry, I have to fix a little something on my desk.
OCD.
Yeah, no, I don't have OCD. It's just, it was down and it's encouraging. So I like it. So when I get sidetracked, I can look around at all my positive things and here I'm dysregulated or whatever. But anyway, I am a childhood trauma survivor. So, I was abused on all levels. So I'm just not going to name them, but if you know all 4 of them, that was the things that I went through for 11 years of my life. And then leading into my teen years, I got into drugs and smoking marijuana, a lot of promiscuous things that I did in my life. Into my 20s, I kind of settled down, but not a whole lot. A lot of developmental trauma, which is complex PTSD. And so my brain development is not the same as somebody that didn't endure trauma, meaning it takes me a lot longer to comprehend things. And so I noticed this, I think I was in like 3rd grade when I really started noticing that I had that issue. But anyway, leading into my 30s, complex trauma usually roars its ugly head about 36, 37-ish. And I remember it was probably about 38, 39. I remember saying to Charles, I'm divorcing you and I'm taking the kids and I'm going back to Massachusetts. And very rarely do I see this man cry. And he cried and he said, Gina, where are you going? What are you running away from? Because whatever you're running from is just eventually going to catch up to you. And I said to him, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, I don't even know who I am. Who am I? Like, I literally was losing my sense of self. But the issue is that I didn't know who I was anyway. I had always been in hypervigilance. I was always living in a dissociated state and working so much and having my head in every single thing that I was doing. I never took the time to understand what was going on up here. So through it all, and after he said that, I was like, man, like, he's really right. Like, okay. Well, then at the time I was in therapy, and my therapist recommended this book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And I read it probably about, 4 years ago or so? Yeah, so it's been about 4 years, because it's been, so it's been about 4 years, maybe a little longer. And it's an amazing book. If you have trauma or you're trying to figure out if you have trauma, you can take the ACEs score or read this book. This book was a life changer for me. Anyway, The Body Keeps the Score. So I was sitting here at my desk last year. So mind you, it's 4 years later after I read the book, and I was sitting here and I was like, the body keeps the score? You mean to tell me that's what it means, the body keeps the score? And so just to give you a nutshell, in case you don't want to read the book, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but this is what the book means. You probably already know it from what I just said. But it basically means is that, did she, Lynn? Oh yeah, it's a phenomenal book. So it's one of those books that when I started reading it, literally, I think I was in the first or second chapter, I started bawling my eyes out and realized that I really wasn't crazy. It was the after effects of childhood trauma that were literally living in the physiological side of your body, which is your body systems. And so the after effects of trauma live in your systems, and it's the body keeps the score. So what the mind doesn't remember, the body does. So to give you an example, if you go into an establishment and you feel all nervous and your heart starts palpitating or getting beating faster, you're sweating, your hands sweat, there's something within that environment that's triggering to you. So you may not remember up here, but your body senses it because your brain is like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? So it's just interesting. So how it took me that long to actually understand exactly what the book meant. I know it's just my brain. So I went on almost 3 years ago. Oh, see, I like that. Let me put this on here too. So what ended up happening is almost 3 years ago, I remember praying to God, and I just said, I have got to have something to help me. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm a sucky wife. I'm a sucky mother. My kids hate me. And I'm traumatizing them. And so I ended up getting into trauma recovery. It was August of 21. And I was just like, man, I don't know if this is God's path for me. I don't even know what's going on. August, September, October, November. Okay. So yeah, that's 3 months. Okay. Yeah. August. Yeah. So 3 months later, August,
September,
October, November, December, or no, 3 months, 4 months. Sorry, like now.
September, October, November would be 3 months.
Okay, so sorry, 3 months. Okay, so 3 months into it, we suffered a tragic loss. My daughter's best friend, that was like a second daughter to us, passed away Thanksgiving weekend, and that just ripped us apart because she had been a part of our life, and so it was just like, holy mackerel, she was 17. I remember being at her funeral, and so most funerals are sad. Their funeral, they're Pentecostal. So most of the funerals that they do are more of a celebration going home. I remember being up at the altar, and I remember praying, and this lady came up and tapped me on the shoulder, and these are the words she spoke to me, and I'll never forget them. And so when I speak this story, I speak this, it's confirmation that God put me where I am today for a reason. And so she said to me, God knows of your abuse from the age of 4. He's given you the tools and resources that you need to restore yourself, let down your guard so he can love you and use you in the capacity that he needs you to be. And I was just like, okay, I started bawling. For one, it was the age that got me, the hindering of my relationship with the Lord. I do have a hindering, not just with him, with people. And I don't love myself. So it's hard for me. I do now. But it's hard for me to give other people love and let them in with so much stuff that I've gone through. It was probably about 3 or 4 months later, somebody else prophesied to me and they gave me scripture, said the same thing. They gave me the scripture, Genesis 50:20. And then they kind of was like, God called you to be a healer. And I'm like, yep, me? Okay, nope, never. Then it was about 3 months later, the light bulb went off that God literally is using my journey to save other people. So that is another reason that I do these lives, is because I know there's somebody out there that's sitting there that doesn't have a voice, and we are your voice. By having men on here like Charles, he's the voice of men, because society has taught you society has taught you to shut up and not to show your emotions and to be strong and to kind of sit and not get help. And that is not how it's supposed to be. So we are huge advocates for mental health, whether it's women's mental health or men's mental health. And so that was kind of the G version of my story. If you want to hear the full story, I have it on my YouTube. It literally goes into, not detail, but I go into a little bit more detail of the things that I've gone through in my life. And so we do this because we want to help other people. I want other people to know that they're not alone. And I want them, again, to know that there's other healing modalities, other things that we can do. So, for instance, Charles uses fishing. I'm not saying anything about fishing because, gosh darn it, I ain't caught a fish in the time that we went. It's to the point now I'm ready to throw my stupid rod in the water and just snap it and say I'm done. That goes to show you that I don't have patience, and I'm working on patience because it takes patience. So then it becomes expectations. If I'm expecting to catch a fish, I'm letting myself down because that's why. If I'm going fishing for the wrong reasons. I need to go fishing to relax and have patience, the same as I would to sit outside. See, he knows. But I am not going fishing for that reason. I was going to catch a fish to get one on the pool. And so it could be God saying, until you have patience, you're never going to catch a fish. But now I've learned to go fishing, although last time we went, I was still kind of irritated because we fished for 4 hours. Still didn't catch no fish, but everybody around me did. And even my son, my 12-year-old, caught fish. And so now he's saying, Mom, like, you stink. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. Fishing.
I caught 3. One of them was snagged in the side.
Yeah, see, Carol can relate. Yes.
A crappie snagged in the side, a crappie in the mouth, and a small bass.
But you still caught something. So I have, because I love being in the outdoors, I don't mind going fishing. It's something. And so I love nature. I literally love going outside, and then you can have it back in a minute, but I love going outside because we're talking about nature, so I want to slip in for a minute. I love sitting outside with my shoes off and sitting in the grass, because the grass, you have all of those ions that absorb into your feet. And I just learned recently that we had pores. I know that's sad. But I was like, how are the ions getting into our feet? Well, yeah, we have pores there. Yeah, okay.
Sweat pores, your feet
yeah,
sweat.
I'm like, geez, I'm like, see, I told you, I'm like, weird. But anyway, so, and then I have some friends that are tree huggers. And I used to kind of giggle like, oh my goodness, until I started doing research on echo. Absolutely. I started doing research on, what? Poor Linda. I'm with you, Linda. I'm just like, just go. Charles likes it. We all like it. It's fine. And it's like, and it is a huge release, especially for people that have a lot of mental health issues. And it's the recreational therapy. And here's why it really helps. For one, it's kind of a 3-part. So when you're throwing, you're paying attention where you're throwing it, and then you're moving. And so your brain has to remember how you're moving. And some of it is, using your subconscious because of you're just doing it without thinking. But it's the movement of it and then casting and everything else, which is good. But the tree huggers, I used to kind of giggle about tree huggers. And when I started doing some research on, what are you trying to show my tattoo off? As I started doing research on ecotherapy, I have that one too, somewhere along the line. I don't know. Oh, that's mine there. And what I found out is trees emit an energy as well that helps us relax. It brings you down, and it's a grounding. So if you're ever feeling distressed, if you're ever feeling like, oh, your anxiety or whatever is out of control, kind of walk around your grass. Just watch out for bees, because I was stung by a honeybee and that was the worst sting ever. But definitely get out in the grass, get out around trees, even if you sit under them. And you will notice a huge difference, doing some different grounding techniques and things like that too. So I wanted to bring up the nature part because it is a part of ecotherapy, recreational therapy, and then yeah, go on. Got anything else? Because I want to teach you a technique when we get done too.
I don't know. Just I just enjoy being outside. Hunting and fishing. I don't like being outside to mow grass. I don't like sitting outside in the sunshine. I've worked too many years out in the hot and heat, and it sucks, and I don't want no part of it. When it's hot, I want to be where it's cool, unless I'm actually fishing or hunting. I'll go out. I don't like being freezing to death, but it can be 0 degrees and 40-mile-an-hour winds. I'll sit out in the deer woods and deer hunt. Oh, well. If I'm shaking and freezing, oh, well, I'll get warm after. When the deer comes up, boom, I get heated up because you get all the adrenaline. So, but, yeah. Last year got into kayak fishing, and that's just where it's at fishing. I don't care what anybody says. Bank fishing, awesome. Fishing out of a boat, it's awesome. Kayak, top of the line, blows it out of the water.
I'm afraid
You're
I'm going to
right
fall over.
there. You're paying attention to what you're doing, but you're relaxing at the same time. So, I mean, you're just right there on the water. It's not like being in a boat on the water. I've been in some of the fanciest bass rigs. Wasn't mine because I couldn't afford them. But I've been in some of the, like I said, some of the fanciest bass rigs. I've been in some of the junkiest John boats that, you had to bring, gallon buckets for each person to bail out water about every 20 minutes or you're just going to sink. But I have an aluminum V-hull boat. I ain't used it in 14, 15 years. What I'd like to have, yeah, but I still have it. My wife, she wants me to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. I mean, I bought the boat cheap. I've done some work to it. Still need some more work done to it. It's a catch-all in the backyard for everything right now. Because everybody likes to put their junk in it.
Because he's the one that said, "Oh, I'd like to sell the boat. I got a kayak now."
I said, "Well, I could sell it." I didn't say I'd like to. I said I could.
See, he's trying to throw me under the bus. See that? What? That's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. Whoop. Sorry. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm waiting for Scott to get out there and get busted on some. He caught a nice fish before he got hurt down Caro. You see that? Fishing just getting that way for him.
Yep. And if you have ADHD or ADD, you're done for.
Hey, you know what? I know people that has ADHD and ADD and whatever else. OCD and all that.
Yep.
Some of the best fishermen and women you're ever going to meet. Because it actually makes them focus.
It does.
They have to come up with their own system on their baits and their lures and all that stuff. But once they get that system set up, they're some of the toughest ones out there on the water. I've talked to some of the pros and stuff, and it's like, yeah, ADHD and OCD just kills me on the water. But I have to have my own process before I go out, and that's what I do. I go out there and I do that, and I catch a lot of fish. It's like, I don't even have a process. I just bring baits, and I just start casting them out and looking for brush piles, whatever else, rocks, whatever, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, I mean, I enjoy the outdoors, like I said, I have fun with it. Like catching fish, I love bass fishing. That's my passion, but I'll fish for anything that bites. It really don't matter. Trying to get her off of the catfishing side of the things and get her more into the bass, which takes a little bit more, concentration and figuring things out without getting aggravated and mad. I mean, I still get aggravated and mad sometimes, Last couple times out in the kayak, got slammed. Thought I had a real nice bass. Come up. stupid freshwater drum. I'm like, really? Oh, I was upset. I didn't like that at all.
Oh.
And fished for another 3.5 hours. Didn't catch nothing. Then the next time, about a week later, I went out another body of water and fished and fished and fished. Nothing. But it had rained the night before pretty good, and it was pushing a bunch of muddy water in. But it did. The guy did tell me, a local old man down there in a boat. He stopped and he was looking at my kayak. He thought it was pretty cool, and he was asked me what I was, kind of fishing I was doing. I said for bass. He said, "Well, you're starting out in the right area." He said, "But the muddy water," he said, "it's got them on lockjaw." He said, "That's what I fish for all the time." He said, "I ain't caught a fish either." So, and he'd been there since before daylight.
That's so funny.
So he'd spent like 6-7 hours on the water and he didn't catch nothing. And this place he fishes, he said 2 to 3 times a week and catches bass. So, oh well, is what it is. I still had a good time, seeing different wildlife, birds and turtles and things like that. So I still enjoy it.
That's good.
But
So let me back up for a second, because he makes fun of me. Well, not really makes fun of me, but I do like catfishing. So it's a transition if you've never catfished, or I'm sure, we have some fishermen and fisherwomen on here that I know you've catfished before. So I catfish with an 8-foot heavy rod. However, I don't know the terminology or whatever, but I think it's an 8-foot heavy. It's a custom rod that we had made. And so, I'm used to slinging that sucker and then just waiting. And so, when you sling it, you try to sling it as far as you can go. Well, then when you transition to try to bass fish, you don't really need to sling it that far. I mean, depending on if there's no trees or you're not going to get stuck on anything. But I'm trying to get used to not slinging it, or flinging it, whatever. Seems to be that the only thing I'm catching is trees and bushes and limbs and whatever else. And guess what's happening? I'm losing all of my fish bait. I can't say the L word, so I'm just going to say fish bait, because I suck at saying the LURES word. So there, I spelt it for
lures.
I'm not even going to look and make myself look like a ding
Come
dong.
on, say it, because a lot of people said crazy.
Nope. So
some people say lures, some people say lures.
It's lures.
And lures.
So whatever. So whatever
Fish
you
and
call
lure.
it. It's fish bait. Whatever you call it. Tackle, whatever. But anyway, so I have lost so much flinging it in the trees. So I'm like, oh, okay. It's a part of learning. But I'm slowly getting there. And even when we bass fish at the reservoir, I'm still flinging it. And I was like, oh man, like Carol's like, she said it fine. I'm still trying to get it so I can slow myself down. And so it's transitioning. It's the same thing as healing and unhealed. So I can use analogy. So that's a good thing. And it's showing your unhealed trauma and your healed trauma. When you have trauma, you fling it hard and you just don't pay attention. As you're starting to heal, the load lightens up, which is perfect.
Yeah, we've been fishing a spot last year. I caught got 21 1/4 on the catch board. She was a little skinny, but found a couple of dead ones there that were 2-foot bass. So you're talking 9+ pounders easy, and maybe even 10 with the way the northern string of bass are, because they're shorter and fatter and a little more girthier than the Florida string. Last year I lost one right at the bank in July when I was trying to get on Team Gramps, and that fish probably would have done it. But oh well, it is what it is. I rushed it in and lost it right at the bank at my feet. So, but there's some big ones in there. So just got to get them big girls to come up and eat. And when you do, they're a fight and they're fun.
Soon.
So,
one day soon.
Aunt Linda, I don't eat bass. Used to when I was a kid, we'd eat bass. Hey, my dad got mad at me. I was like 14 years old. Was down a little farm pond behind a church down in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Hooked a almost 11-pound bass, 10-pound, 13-ounce bass. And I showed it to him, and he's like, "What are you going to do with it, boy? You going to kiss it? You going to eat it? You going to throw it back or what?" You know, and I've always said if I ever caught a 10-pounder, I'd get it mounted. Well, I looked at that bass, I kissed that bass, and I put it right back in the water.
Oh no.
He got so mad at me. I mean, he reeled in all 3 of his fishing poles, dumped out all of his minnows that he was using to fish with for crappie and bass, got all of his stuff in the truck, and looked at me, said, if you're going home, you better come now. So, of course, I had to grab him. I was, 30 miles from home. And he didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. I mean, it didn't say one word to me for 2 weeks. He was mad because my dad would have ate that fish. My dad loved eating fish. He would have ate that thing in a heartbeat. Me, nah, when you get a bass, largemouth bass over about a pound, pound and a quarter, pound and a half is maximum, and they get this taste to them. No, thank you. So, yeah, Aunt Linda, he'd eat them fish. He'd eat any of them. Even, he'd still tried to learn how to clean carp and make them taste good. Them things was gross. They taste like dirt.
All right. Look at this one. See, this would be something I would do. We have a 6-year-old, and I keep trying to tell her I fling them. So I'm always telling her, get out of the way, because I'm gonna hook you. I'm gonna get you in the cheek. Get away from me. I love her, but I'm like, stop, because I'm not a pro. Like, I'll just fling it around. So yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we used to do some. We didn't use slip bobbers. If you were running a bobber 5-6 foot deep, well, you clip the bobber on your line 5 or 6 foot up from your hook, you cast it out. Well, I remember doing that one time in Coldwater River, and went to cast out. It was probably 4.5 foot, and just as I cast it out, I slipped. That was a mistake, because next thing you know, I got a night crawler with the old catfish smelling spray stuff you put on, smell like pepperoni. And I'll tell you, you know why them worms wiggle when you spray that stuff on them? Because it burns. That thing I hooked into my ear almost all the way through with a big old, like a 5-aught or 6-aught circle hook right in my earlobe.
Ooh.
And instant on fire. Woo! Yeah, I found out then why worms wiggle when you sprayed that stuff on them. Because it's terrible. Smells like pepperoni. It don't feel like pepperoni because it'll burn you up. That stuff should have been hot sauce.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yep. Exactly. Oh, God.
Not saying anybody. I mean, if you don't fish, that's fine. Just get outdoors. I mean, just go out and walk around a lake, somewhere, and just when the wind's blowing, the waves are crashing on the bank. Hey, it's serenity at the same time. You just don't realize it. You can clear your mind just watching the birds fly around. Just watch out for snakes.
I miss the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean's pretty cool. Done a little fishing in the ocean.
Yep.
A big old saltwater striper. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Ate him. Boy, that's a good tasting fish, I'm going to tell you. If you never had saltwater striper, that's good.
Yeah.
Gina's dad filleted that thing up with these 2 big old... I tell you, the blades on the fillet knife was like 2 foot long. The one blade, it was like this thick at the end and about that thick at the handle. But in the middle, it went down to about that thin. I think it had been sharpened so many times where he cut up fish on the fish pier, filleted tunas and all that good stuff. And he had the other knife and that blade was like that. Big old tall, thick blade. It was a boning knife or something. And that dude, he took that big, heavy-duty knife, he cut around that fish's head and stuff. He grabbed the other one that was like thick on the end and next to the handle, thin in the middle. He just took it in one swipe. He just stuck it down there and went like that. Flipped it over, the fillet, and just took it right off the skin. 2 strokes, the fillet right off the skin. Flipped the fish over, done the same thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, woo, you don't want to get in a knife fight with this fella. He'll skin you out. You'll be flayed off the bone.
Hi, Michael.
No, it wasn't machete. But I'll tell you what, that was he knew what to do with a knife. I don't know how many years it'd been since he'd worked on the fish pier and stuff, but oh yeah, he knew how to fillet a fish. I mean, right now, it's like you take a 19-pound fish and take the fillets off of it in like 10 seconds. He had the whole thing filleted out. So, yeah, don't mess with somebody that can run a knife like that.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. It's he did. I was like, man. Yep. So, um, yeah. So fishing's good. Getting outdoors is good, and kind of teach you a little bit of a mindfulness techniques because so many trauma survivors are always they always keep busy, so they don't understand. Okay, they keep busy, so up here, what's ruminating, it distracts them. So next time you go fishing, next time you go for a walk, I encourage you to listen for the birds. Um, Listen when your bait, lure, whatever the word is, hits the water. Listen for that. Um, Listen for the fish coming up out of the water. Like, you'll always have jumpers coming up. Listen for that. Um, Listen for the insects chirping or whatever they're doing. I want you to listen to all that, and here's why. Because as you listen to those types of things, you're recreating new neural plasticity, so new neurons, synapses in your brain. And so then you become more mindful of things happening around you. A lot of us don't like to sit in the uncomfortableness of what's going on up here, so we stay active and we stay busy. So walking is huge too, because not only is it helping you with exercise a little bit, but then you can look at the trees, you can look at the animals that you might see a cat, a bunny, whatever you see. And you may hear the birds and whatever I said, what I mentioned before. But it's all about building mindfulness, and as you build mindfulness, you build the grounding techniques to actually help you get ahead of your trauma and things like that, and to be able to get those grounding techniques down. And it's been a huge thing for me. And so that's one of the things that I work with my clients on is really being mindful of the things that you're doing, the things that you're seeing, because it really does help your brain recreate all of those new pathways into your brain, and it helps rewire your brain to adapt to new things. So then you're not reacting with trauma brain, you're actually reacting with adult brain, which is a huge thing. And so do you have anything else? Because I want to teach you guys a relaxation technique before we leave. We've been on here for almost an hour. So
Hey, Cairo, listen for the gators.
oh yeah, well I forgot what Carol was. Yeah. No, you just want to listen for the bang. And there you go. Carol, I think I asked you before, but do you eat gator? You do, don't you?
Yeah, she eat gator.
Oof.
Gator tail's delicious.
That's right. I
Gator
remember
tail
we
is
asked her that before. What was it,
yummy.
gator? And I think we had this conversation before about gator and rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake's good.
Yep.
You make rattlesnake.
Yeah, I've had. I know. I'm just saying.
Deer's delicious.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Ooh. Bambi? No.
Bambi's the best because it's real tender. The
That's
only
funny.
thing is, you get a piece of Bambi this big, it's freaked
She's
out about
like-
that big when it's done cooking.
Yep. Let's have some in the freezer. Oh, that's funny. Scott's like, no gators. Yep.
Nah, you don't have gators. We don't eat her.
Yep. Now he's probably talking about he ain't eating them.
Oh, gator tastes good. Ooh wee.
Yeah. So I had rattlesnake.
Yep, deer is
at a-
good.
at
Aunt
a,
Linda knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Gator's good too, Aunt Linda. I'm telling you.
It's
Frog
not-
legs. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Gotta be fresh hot frog legs though. Don't let them get cold and sit. Ugh,
Yeah.
they're gross.
It's like, okay. Yeah. I get, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things like, it's funny because it's one of those things like, you can eat chicken legs.
Yeah, I don't eat rabbit, Aunt Linda. That's the same thing as a rat.
Oh,
I don't eat squirrel either. It's the same thing as a rat. I don't eat coon. It's a rat.
oh, golly.
Yeah, I don't eat.
I like this one.
Mm.
The only gator going in this body is Gatorade. You got that right.
I'll tell you, if you ever take, a lot of people say, "Oh, it tastes like chicken." No, it don't.
What's that? Alligator?
Alligator. It does.
Gator.
Gator just has its own flavor. It's not a fishy flavor. It's not a gamey wild meat flavor. It's not a chicken flavor. It just tastes like gator. It's just gator is its own
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I gotta do that.
Yeah, I don't eat tree rats. That's a squirrel is a rat with a bushy tail. Sorry, Blech. Ain't gonna eat it. I've tried when I was a kid. I can't get it in my mouth. I won't eat beaver, but I did eat beaver unknowingly one time. So,
I don't know if I can. Okay, sorry. Hopefully, you can.
but I didn't know it was beaver. And a buddy of mine, I helped him get it out of his pond after he had killed it. And 2 days later, he had a barbecue. Well, I went over to stop by the barbecue, and I done ate a big plate full. And I was like, man, that's pretty good. Who'd you get that beef from? He started laughing. He said, no, that's not beef, bud. That's that beaver we got out the other night. I'm like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. You made me eat rodent.
Oh, yuck.
I'm not eating rodent. Ugh. He tried to get me to eat small. I'm like, no thanks, bud. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, gator does have a sweet flavor.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually, so does rattlesnake. Rattlesnake has a sweet flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. This is the best analogy. If you ever ate rattlesnake and gator, it does. They both have a sweetness to them.
So
it's
we're
real
all
good.
We're all going to Caro's. We're all going to have some alligator and whatever else. Sorry, Carol.
All right, I'm done.
we just invited ourselves to your house. No, it's okay.
I
So,
got your address, Carol. I'll come eat.
oh, that is
Cook
so
some
funny.
gator.
She'd probably be like, "Come on." All right. So I want to teach you guys a technique really quick, but I also forgot that I want to do a giveaway. So I'm trying to see if I can figure this out. Okay. So I'm an author as well. And so as part of, let me see, I got to see if I can figure out how to do this thingy here. Let me see if I can do it this way. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. So as part of my healing journey and the things that I've endured in my life and the things that I used to help me on my healing, said, come on down, one more type of game for a game night. I actually wrote a workbook. And so the self-help workbook is for those that have PTSD and complex PTSD. And it's called Trauma to Transformation, in the Mind Trauma to Transformation. And it's, hi, Heather. And so it's really about if you have, if you don't even know that you've endured trauma, let me encourage you to go take your ACEs test, which is your adverse childhood experiences. And there's 10 questions, and it literally will tell you if you've endured trauma just by the number. I have a 9 out of 10. And so it'll tell you where you are as far as if you've endured some sort of trauma. Heather, you said Preston likes frog legs? Oh,
Frog legs are good.
they're all right. I just can't get, like, if you would take them off the legs and give them to me, they would be okay. Oh, yeah. So this book was written by me. Everything in the book was things that I did for myself again. And so because I believe in this book and the healing that people can receive, I'm giving away a free copy of this tonight. So it'll be signed by me. It'll have an inspirational empowerment message in here for you, and it'll be obviously shipped to you as well. Let me get to my other little tool thingy here because I have to go back. Okay, so this is the hashtag that you need to put in order to be entered. And then I got to figure out, hopefully I can figure out how to do this. So hashtag Slyfox. So if you put hashtag Slyfox, and then it will, you'll be entered. Huh?
It should go in.
Yeah, hopefully it does. So, hopefully it will. So we'll give that a few extra minutes. And so what I want to do is, while you guys are typing in hashtag Slyfox, I'll keep that up for a couple minutes. I don't know if this
Go in there.
it will.
Yeah, they should have microphone.
Oh yeah, okay, I see that. Yep. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure it was working. She said beat Sly. That's what I should have did. Oh, goodness gracious.
Not gonna happen, K-Ro.
It might. Never know. So, all right. So I will draw that in just a minute. But what I want to do is, before I draw that, I want to leave you with a grounding relaxation technique. And you can look it up as well, but I kind of want to go through it with you. It's one of the things that I've learned to relax. And so our body is tense. And there's sometimes, again, like I said, that we have the trapped trauma within our body. And so what I want to teach you is called progressive muscle relaxation. And this is something that you can do. I would recommend you do it in bed laying down, or if you're going to do it, you're going to do it on a chair that has arms. And here's why. The first time that I did it, I was actually sitting in the chair that Slyfox is sitting in. It's just a regular chair that has no arms in it. And what ended up happening was I got so relaxed doing it, I literally almost fell out of the chair. And so it's definitely definitely not good. So I highly recommend that when you do this, that that you're sitting or you're laying down, or you're sitting on a chair, your recliner, or in a chair that has arms, because it will relax you. And obviously I don't want you to get hurt or anything like that. So what you'll end up doing is you'll start from your toes, your feet. And because I'm not going to show you my feet, I'm just, because of the body, I'll show you what you do just from the upper all the way up, but I will show you. So what you do is you take your feet, pretend these are my feet, and you squeeze them as tight as you can, and you count to 10. And so when you get to 10, you're going to slowly release them. Slowly release them. And so you're going to do that with your feet and your toes. You're going to do that with your calves. You're going to do that with your thighs. Then you're going to do it with your stomach. And your stomach, you just really suck it in. And again, this is all within 10-second increments that you're going to do each one of these. And remember to breathe as you're doing this. And then you're going to get up to your chest and shoulders. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring your shoulder blades together. And so that is how you're going to kind of stretch them, but you're going to bring them together. You're going to count to 10. And then when you go to release, again, you're just going to slowly release as you're breathing. So slowly release those. And then your hands. So then we'll do our hands. You'll clench your fist as tight as you can, count to 10, and then you're going to slowly release them. And so your arms, as you're doing that, your arms are going to get tight as well. And especially when you're doing this, your arms are going to get tight. You're going to be able to feel it through your shoulders into your shoulder blades. And so that's how you're literally working this portion of it. This is always the funny thing. I'll take my glasses off. I can't see you, but you can see me. So for your face, when you do your face, because you're going to want to, you're going to squeeze your face as tight as you can. And you're going to hold that for 10 seconds. That's a goofy face. I like to see all of you do that and see what your faces look like. So then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to hold that. You will end up holding that for 10 seconds. So what this does is it literally starts releasing the trapped trauma that's in your body, and it causes a relaxation state to take place. Now, if you find that you're doing this and then you're like, oh, I still feel tension somewhere in your body, you don't have to go back and do the entire technique. You can literally just do it in that area. So for instance, if you know that your shoulders are tight, go back and do this again. Go back and do it again. Carol. So go back and oh, you're such a jerk. And go back and kind of do this and then release. Stop touching me, you goober. And oh, Nick, why do you want a book? I'm your mom. I can just give you a book for free. That'd be so funny if he ended. That's my son, or our son, but that would be funny if he won. So if you
ain't winning, boy.
If you go on and you look up progressive muscle relaxation, or if you want it, I have a sheet. I can email it to you, put it in Facebook chat, whatever you want. You can, he's like, cause I want it. I can send it to you. It's actually a part of my book. It's in my book along with some other techniques. But it really does relax you. If you notice the 10 seconds isn't working, do it for 20 seconds. Actually, no, I'm not going to recommend that to you. Do it for 10 seconds through one, and then do it again, if that. But I almost guarantee you that it will work to some degree. It's really good if you have trouble sleeping. It's a really good relaxation technique, and things like that too. I try to do as much holistic things as possible. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that I really love. So, so that's going to kind of be my goal. I mean, I have a lot more different techniques and things like that too. So, which is amazing. So, okay. So now that I taught you that, we're going to go on, and I think we only have,
Click on it down there.
I know, but I'm going to click on this again because what I want to do, I have, it says 10 people watching, and I have 5 entries. So if I can get a couple more, and then we will draw. So a couple more entries. If I can get to 7, which I should be able to, just do, oh, you do use it already, Carol. Awesome. It's one of my favorite things. Besides, I do that, and then like essential oils. And I find myself doing it even in sessions. I find myself doing that with my feet to kind of relax too. So I'm glad to hear that you love it as well. So it's hashtag Slyfox or pound. If you're old like me, it would be the pound and not hashtag. It would be the pound Slyfox. So if you want a chance at winning. So this is my book. It's just the cover looks different because I changed my business name and created a new logo for my business. So this is the book here. You'll just get the new one that actually has the new picture on the front of it. So how many do I have? Still 5? Still 5.
Come on, people. You know you're on there. If you're listening, come on. Hashtag Slyfox. It's easy to do. Make sure you hit the like button, too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Smash that thumbs up. It's easy. It's free.
Oh,
And if you don't believe me that it's easy and free, go do it and see what happens. Not take you 2 seconds.
Yep. All right. So I think we're just going to be at 5, which is perfectly fine. One more second. Sly or hashtag Slyfox. Hurry up. We have 10 live, 10 watching. Can we at least get one more? If not, it's fine. All right. Well, probably can't. I know. I got to figure out. Okay. I'm trying to make it bigger. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, well, there we go. Up.
Go on that shave your face.
Up. We did, huh?
Right there.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. You were number 6. Perfect. Okay. Now we hit the
Clickety
draw.
click clack. Click click.
This is what we hit?
Yep. The roll.
Okay, hold on. Oh,
Draw.
that made it big. Holy cow. No, that's not what I want.
Did you?
Oh, I'm going to... View tab. Okay, hold on a second. I got to figure... Oh, hold on.
You did it wrong.
What did I do?
I don't know.
I didn't... You're telling me I did it wrong. So I...
Click it there.
Yeah, but then they won't be able to see it.
Oh, it might. I don't know. Click it.
View tab, StreamYard. Okay. Oh, nope. Crap. Okay, guys, sorry. Hold on.
It's just your time to figure this thing out. It's stupid.
So I am full street. Nope. Why I can't figure out why it's not working. It's not letting me draw for some reason. Okay, so I can
Just go and
oh
click it
my
on the other
goodness.
side.
On this?
Yeah, try it there, then go back.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop screen share for just a second. Hold on. Okay, so it's us again. Sorry, guys. We're having a little bit of difficulty.
Technical difficulties.
Give me just a second. Wrong button. Present. Share screen. Okay, so I'm going to try this again and see if I can get this to... Okay, share. Okay. I don't know if you guys can... Hopefully you can see this. Hopefully. Okay, well, we're going to see who's going to win. Hopefully it'll show. Heather, congratulations.
Share it. See if it's on there. Go back to your StreamYard studio, see if it's there.
It did.
There it
Okay.
is.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to do one more. So give me just a second to go back and draw again. We'll do 2 of them. I should have took Nick out of it. If he wins, I'm going to knock him out. Carol! Yay!
Carol gets a book. Now she's got to read.
So congratulations to Heather and Carol. Send me I already know who you both are. So send me your address. I'm not big enough to say, oh, you got to do this. I know who you are. So send me your address, and I have to get them ordered. And so I will get them ordered. It'll be a couple weeks. And then when I get them, I will definitely send them to you. So I appreciate every single one of you. So next week we will have Gabby. Gabby is a childhood trauma survivor, and Gabby actually uses waltzing, so dancing. Heather, yes, we will see you Thursday. So Gabby uses waltzing. It's I think it's called Waltzing Through Trauma, and so next Monday we will have her, and she will kind of share a little bit about her story. You're welcome, Carol, and some of the things that that she's endured, how she's using. She's almost a black belt in karate, and how she's using that, and also waltzing and dancing, and how that's really helped with her complex trauma. And then soon we will end up having put her on here. Whoop, sorry. Life Wired, the Brain Injury Podcast. They will be featured on here pretty soon. And so I'm excited to welcome them as well. And so we will see you back here. You're welcome, Scott, anytime. You really read that many? 10 books a week? Holy mackerel. There's no way. I mean, I try to read, but yeah, then I have trouble comprehending, and then I just throw
Carol,
up.
that's why you ain't catching no fish. You're reading too many books.
Yeah, he's too funny.
Can't be reading books and doing this on the riverbank.
Well, I mean, you could listen to what? Audiobooks? You could listen to audiobooks.
You ain't reading.
Yep. So, so I thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your Monday evening to spend it with Slyfox and I.
We appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. And so, again, if you will like it and share it, and don't forget to hit the notification to subscribe or whatever you need to do with all that good jazz pertaining to YouTube. I would really appreciate it. And we will see you. Mark your calendars. As soon as I get the information from Gabby, it'll be up. But we will be live again next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Central Time, Eastern Central Time, or Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, you know what I meant. Whatever. EST time.
Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Yeah, whatever it is. See, I work worldwide, so then I have to figure out all of this other time zone baloney. So, yeah, so we're in the Eastern time zone. So there you go. And so any, you know, if you guys want to come back next week, we would love to have you. And again, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Oh my God, he's a goofball.
Always.